This is a 1940s Diamond T prime mover that would have been used as a tank transporter during the war. And we have been doing it up over a number of years for a friend of mine, Mr. David Crouch. And then recently, I had a brilliant and wonderful idea. We are getting near to the end of its completion, and I decided that I actually quite like it myself, which has changed things somewhat. So we have painted it at the moment in NATO green, which, because if you look over here, this Diamond 2's actually got the Rolls-Royce engine in. You can tell because it's got this, some people say, ugly bulge in the bonnet. I quite like it. So a lot of those were used by the British, which is why we've painted it in NATO green. But I've bought it for a very special reason, and some people I think are going to scream when I tell them what I plan to do. But as people that follow the channel know, we have a living trailer camper van conversion that we're doing out of an old United States Air Force radio trailer, which we're turning into a bit of a posh gentleman's club style camper. So when we go to the show, we can park up, we've got a shower, we've got heating, we've got running water, electricity, all those lovely things, because I hate roughing it in a tent. Some people love tenting and camping or whatever you call it. I honestly can't think of anything worse than being half and waking up at 3 in the morning, freezing cold, and it's raining. Not into that. If you're into that, that's good for you. I hate it. So, people would probably think that I'm just going to put a dolly under the trailer, like what's on it now, leaving it all on, it's a bit awful, and then tow it behind this. And they would be wrong, because I don't like the idea of that. I actually want to take the, oh, that's solid, look at that. I want to take this rear tub off, I'm going to take the rear ballast block off and actually convert it to a fifth wheel tractor unit. And now I imagine people are going to be screaming about that, and well, buy your own one and do what you like with it, but this is what I plan to do with this one. So yeah, and there is some photos, and we'll put them on the screen now, of a, I'm not sure if it was a prototype, but they clearly did do a version with a fifth wheel, so we are going to make this look as close as we possibly can to that. And for those purists out there screaming and kicking and moaning, we are going to do it in such a way that the body could be bolted back on. So these stays, which have typically actually got metric bolts in that needed changing anyway, we're going to unbolt it there, but these actual brackets, we're going to have to grind the heads of the rivets off and take them off, and we'll actually make the fifth wheel bolt to the original holes. So if we wanted to at any point, we could put it back to original. Just remember though, that this particular Diamond T has had quite a heavy life after the war by a chap called Bob Gent, and probably several other before him. And this has had lots of modifications over the years that you'll see from some of the old photos that we'll show you of when we first started the project. He's even got a hydraulic pump. It had a hydraulic underlift. They never had hydraulics, but this one has hydraulics. So yeah, so it's not exactly the most perfect example of a Diamond T. The back of the cab has been repaired, not brilliantly, but it's all right. So it's never going to be perfect. Someone keeps sending me, Ian Hewes keeps sending me photos of probably something he wants me to buy. Anyway, so body off, we're going to fit a fifth wheel, and we're going to use our CNC plasma cutter to make all of the skid brackets, because it should have like a wedge piece. So as you back under the trailer, it lifts the trailer up and then onto the Diamond T, onto the fifth wheel rather. So we will make that with the Swift plasma machine. And we've also got to make some little light brackets. So these little lights that are currently in the body, we're going to make some little brackets to try and make it look as close as it did in that photo. And on the photo you're probably thinking, oh well, it's a soft top or a rag top. I know this one isn't, but I personally prefer the look of the steel cab. And of course we need to fit the spare wheel in this area here. So I'll be making brackets off the old Garwood winch to do that. And I think it'll look pretty cool. So let us know in the comments what you think. Is this a terrible idea? I'm sure it is, because I'm good at terrible ideas. But I think it'd be fun, and I think the Diamond T is such a cool looking vehicle. The idea is at the show, I can ditch the trailer, I can unhook, and then use the Diamond T to do, you know, driving around or do a little bit of winching or whatever at a show, because I like to be doing stuff at shows, not just sat there telling people what the vehicle is all day long. I like to be doing things if I can help it. So I better get to work unbolting that body and lifting it off with a phone. Well, it hasn't picked up the best, but it is full of concrete after all. Apologies about the bad camera work there. You cannot beat the old Foden with the Elka remote. Literally makes it. Well, that was easy. So the wooden slats can also come off. These will now be took off. The fifth wheel must go over that winch. Oh no. I wonder if the winch... I'll have to study the photo. Maybe the winch goes over the top. Make more sense as a tank transporter to pull it up over than under. I'll have to study those photos. But yeah, I think I'll get it back in the shed. And of course the other thing was, the other reason we've done all this is because, like I say, it's in NATO green, because we were originally going to do it for the, you know, British use. But actually, because I want to pull the American Air Force trailer, I'm now going to change the colour to olive drab. And Jack's really, really, really happy about that. But no matter, these things happen. How long do you think since that's been out? I might want some more heating up. Not too pitted under there, is it? We've got a punch anyway. We do have a snap-on screwdriver, which I'm pretty sure on the side of them says to use as a pry bar or a punch when convenient. That is what that translates to. Good job I didn't waste any money on a pry bar or a punch, right? Oh, I'll heat that head up. While I was at it, I thought I'd better change these brake pipes because they were looking a little bit worse for wear. Mint. So we nipped down to Corby Hose and Hydraulics, and Rob made us up some new pipes. Right, so we got all the brackets off and all the rivets out and cut off. These are little rivets. They were a pig to get out. So I've also chopped this roller off because, well, frankly, it's something like off the Titanic, so that needs sorting out anyway. And it's also going to sit smack bang where I want to put the fifth wheel. And on the original photos that I could work out, it looked to me like the winch cable was actually wrapped on the drum the opposite way. So rather than feeding out under, it feeds out over. And instead of a roller there was a long roller. Ow.
I bet that hurt. I bet that hurt.
That was humorous.
Yeah.
That was here, and then it sort of fed under the fifth wheel. Now, I'm going to prioritise how it sits on my living trailer over the realisticness of the fifth wheels, because I don't have good enough photos to tell whether that original roller was in there and the fifth wheel just sat over the top of it. But for me, I know that's going to be too high. So we've gone and found a fifth wheel, which is over here, which is a modern fifth wheel off a Mercedes lorry. No, I think it's off an MAN actually. Not sure.
He's making it up as he goes along.
Safe, because I don't exactly want it falling off. So this is a modern fifth wheel, but it's got the horseshoe shape. It sort of replicates the old one that you can see in the photo quite well. So I'm quite pleased.
Come round and show everybody what you mean.
Yeah,
the horseshoe. Yeah.
So that will, what it will mean that we'll have to do next is make the brackets with a swift cut, the skids that guide up the back of the chassis onto that. So that should be easy enough. I'll order some steel in so we can do that. And then we'll have to get some angle iron, thick angle iron, work out whereabouts we want to put it, and then drill it out with a mag drill. And that should be fairly simple. And of course, on the photos for the air, because of course they're air trailers, air brakes on these Darwin-Ts, it looked to me like they just plugged the palm couplings in at the back here, and then ran the pipes over under the fifth wheel and back at the top, which is a little bit rubbish if you ask me, but that's how it looked like they were doing it on the photo. So what I'm going to do is tee into the back of these fittings down here. So I'll also put a tap, so we'll still have the original palm couplings at the rear if I wanted to pull, say, a Rogers trailer or whatever, but I'll also have a separate line coming to the back. We'll put a bit of a plate over here, just like the original one, and then we'll have some new pipes that just go to the trailer. Because I do want the brakes to be right. The brakes on this Diamond-T seem to work okay, but the pipes were very perished on the brakes. So we obviously went off to Corby Brake and Hose. You can see, I mean, believe it or not, they didn't leak at all. But
it's a lot of Jubilee clips. It's a lot of Jubilee clips.
It is a lot of Jubilee clips, and this looks like Calagas pipe. It's like...
Hang on, it won't focus on any of it.
It's like orange, so not too keen on that. So we've gone and got some new replacement hoses. The only thing that's a bit of a shame is Diamond-Ts have these, can't get it off now, these brass fittings which last forever, which would have cost a fortune.
God, this phone does not focus, does it?
I can't afford the brass fittings, so we're going for some sort of zinc coated
bleeding
ones.
Poverty.
But we're going to convert it basically, so that will screw in down there,
I can't see that.
on the brake chamber. So that will screw in there, and that'll actually convert it to modern hoses, just so it's a little bit more reliable. So that will go something like that. Perfect. And then we know that the air pipes, because the rest of the air pipes on this are made out of copper with brass fittings. So in fairness, it's a pretty good, reliable system. The only bit that was looking a bit tired was the rubber hoses. So with them replaced on the front axle and the back, there should be one less thing to worry about. So I'm going to slap them on next. I think we'll put the fifth wheel on just for a little mock-up, see what it's going to look like. So now we've got the new pipes fitted, and front brakes, and the rear. Oh, beautiful. Lovely job. Beauty. I'm liking it. Right, we just dropped the fifth wheel on just to have a little bit of a mock-up, see what it looks like. It's roughly in the right place. I think it looks pretty cool. Yeah, so I'll be able to get some angle line there, mag drill it through the chassis, bolt that on. The skids will go up here. We'll make that with the old Swift cut, what a bit of kit. And then we'll make a floor plate, a catwalk, whatever you call it, for there, like on the photo. Just probably treat it to a new wrench cable, because that I keep cutting myself when it's all frayed and not in the best conditions. And I do want to use it for winching. So yeah, I need to order some steel. And everyone will be pleased to know the T34 is back in the shed. What could possibly go wrong? Huh? Go on. Go on. You in first gear? Those ramps do look rather steep. Very steep. Get your boom in. There's some weight there now. Ooh. So everything's okay. Nice and steady now. Nice and steady. Nice and steady. Nice and steady. Old cat loves it. Just what she needs. They're painted and restored by the end of the week.
Jesus Christ, yeah, by the end of the week, yeah, 100%.
Good. Big fan of all the noises. In the paint shop.
Good job they're not heavy.
No. Oh. And we are starting to go back through it again, sanding all the engine bay down. This will be the first bit we'll paint. There's a few areas over there and cleaning. Mask all the bits and pieces. We'll get it mint in here, painted, tarp it over. We'll take the turret back off, do the inside of the turret, and then start assembling stuff to go back in. We can put all the fuel tanks back in, but then we do need to address the engine. I'm still unsure what I'm doing with that. So yeah, that's a little update on the T34 as well. Hope you'd enjoyed the video on the Diamond T, and we shall see you again next week. And we'll be doing something pretty interesting. And we'll be needing a big digger. So try and guess what we'll be doing next week. It could be a very, very interesting video indeed. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you again.
This is my biggest treasure, my greatest prized possession. The only thing that's left I truly own. So if there's no pot of gold at the end of this here rainbow, no record, man, you'll never own my song. My craft is my profession, my passion is tradition. When words will die, this song keeps living on. Hell, I won't sell one piece of me for some no good investment. No record, man, you'll never own my song. Promises are made to be broken, and ain't never been enough to get by on. My melody's confession is a lifetime of transgression. The lessons in this life don't steer you wrong. There's a million tunes to choose from, just not this one of mine. No record, man, you'll never own my soul. There's a million tunes that you could buy, just not this one of mine. Mr. Record